take the first one, which is by far I think one of the most important thing as when you talk about the mathematics. It is something which is called as the volatility or the standard deviation of any asset class. Alright, so let's talk about what a volatility is, how you can use the volatility. What is your opinion in terms of where the markets are going in the next 1 year? Alright, if I were to ask everybody in this room, what is your opinion in terms of what the market, where the markets are going in the next 1 year? Everybody will have their own opinion. Someone will say up 20%, someone will say down 10%, someone will say up 15%. Everybody would have their own opinion. Right? Suppose I take the average of that. I take the average of the consensus in this room. And suppose the average comes to say 15%, which means on an average what we are assuming is in the next 1 year, this room has a consensus that the markets are going to go up by 15%. Alright? Now everybody here knows that this is not an Archimedes principle that the market will be exactly up 15%. We all know it's going to be either down 40 or up 50 depending upon where the election goes. Right? So it's going to be in either of the directions. That means the market, what we basically say, is going to have very high volatility. Everybody uses the word volatility. Markets are going to have very huge movement depending upon how the elections are going to move. Right? So I define a term here. This is basically your average. This is your average. I define a term here which is also called as volatility. And I'll later explain to you how to calculate it and things like that. Right? And suppose that 1 year volatility of Nifty is 20% or the index is 20%. Suppose. I'll later explain to you how to calculate that. Now, what it physically means or what it literally means is that from 15% market can go up or it can go down. Suppose it goes up by 20%. So 15% plus 20% becomes 35, or 15% minus 20% becomes minus 5%. Right? Now the theory of volatility tells that there is a 66% chance. There is a 66% chance that the markets are going to stay between minus 5 and plus 35%. Alright, you are with me till now? Now again, this is also something which is not a clearly defined number because markets can go much higher than 35 or can go much lower than minus 5. Suppose I expand my horizon further where I say that with respect to 35, I go to the positive by another 20%, which means 35 plus 20. So that becomes 55% or minus 5 minus 20. So this is another 20% one, minus 25%. Now, the theory of volatility says that there is a 95% chance, that the markets are going to stay between minus 25% and plus 55%. In technical terms, it is basically called as 2 sigma or 2 times the volatility, which is the range of minus 25 to plus 55%. 1 sigma limit, here in this case is minus 5 to plus 30. If I expand this further, which means I go 55 plus 20, so 55 plus 20 would become 75%. Or if I go to the lower limit, which is minus 25 minus 20, it will become minus 45%. This band, which is the 3 sigma band, 3 times onto the left side of the average or the right side of the average, the theory of volatility says that there is a 99% chance that the markets are going to stay between minus 45 and plus 75%. Here, we are not talking about anything based upon deterministic event. We are talking about probability. There is a probability that the markets are going to stay between this and this. There is a probability that the markets are going to stay between this and this. Right? And the term that basically defines the probability is this term, which is the volatility. Now, if the volatility increases, if you have done options, you would be hearing about IVs, implied volatility, right? If the volatility increases, that means goes from 20% to 25%. What do you think is going to happen to these banks? They are going to expand, right? More uncertainty in the market. More uncertainty means more risk, probably more reward, but the risk increases. If the volatility shrinks down, goes from 20% to 10%, what is going to happen to the bank? They are going to shrink. Yes. Deposit return is zero, which means there is no risk in a fixed deposit unless the bank goes bankrupt. That's the difference. Right? But if that does not happen, what you're basically saying is that because the volatility of a fixed deposit is zero, that is why it's a risk-free return. But any financial markets in this world, like equity market or commodity market or currency market or treasury market, they have got volatility. Where was I? Currency commodities, right? So commodities as an asset class has got very high volatility, right? For example, silver or natural gas or a crude, they have got historically annualized volatility of 30-35%. Equities as an asset class has got seconds, which is about 20, 22, 25, 18, that range. Currencies as an asset class has a volatility of 8, 9, 10%. I mean, remove the current USD and it's a one-off case, right? But historically, the volatility of currency has been about 8 to 10% annualized. Treasuries, the bond or the yields, which you still don't have in India, has got volatility of about 4 to 5%. So any asset class you trade, you need to know what is volatility.